Ah.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Welcome. 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 Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Welcome. Kyle, it's the last show, and it's going to be the best show.
The best show ever.
It's going to be the best show because our Eagles are Super Bowl champions. We did it, people. We did it. And I'll just give a fair warning right now. We are two Eagles fans. We're very big Eagles fans. So we're going to gloat a little bit in this episode. So if that's not your cup of tea, you might want to move on from this episode. You've been warned. Okay? We freaking did it. We did it.
I mean, anybody who's been listening since the very first podcast, this should not be a surprise. Or should I called this exact result at the beginning of the season. So
yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah, really not a surprise of this.
Are you wearing a hat, Kyle?
I am wearing a hat.
Why are you wearing a hat? Never wear hats.
I am now the bald
eagle.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Wow!
Look at you! Holy shit!
Crazy,
dude. You look like Zach Bond.
I am Zach Bond.
I am Zach Bond.
I am the bald eagle.
Okay. Now that we have 100% viewer retention, Kyle, I want to start this episode by taking you on a journey back in time. The date is February 12th, 2023. The time is approximately 10:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Kansas City Chiefs have just defeated the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 57 by a score of 38-34. Patrick Mahomes is named MVP, and the Chiefs dynasty has been cemented into the fabric of the National Football League. Just 2 days later, Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen is hired to be the next head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. And the same day, defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon is officially, a bit of tampering there, is introduced as head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. It's the first of many Eagles losses to come. The next stop on our journey is January 15th, 2024. We're in Tampa, Florida, and the time is approximately 11:17 p.m. After beginning the season 10-2, the Eagles have now lost 5 out of their last 6 games, falling from first place in the NFC all the way to second place in their own division. And I am sitting in the stands at Raymond James Stadium watching them lose their final game of the season to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 32-9, eliminating the Eagles from playoff contention. This will be the last game of Jason Kelce's career. The Eagles lose again. Just 2 months later, on March 13th, 2024, the Eagles' outlook seems to be changing a little bit. Eagles general manager Howie Roseman ends a phone call with football agent Ed Berry, and shortly after, news breaks that running back Saquon Barkley has signed a 3-year, $37.75 million deal with the Eagles, ending a 6-year run as a New York Giant. Things start to be looking up. The next 2 dates in our story occur on back-to-back nights, April 25th and April 26th, 2024, draft night. On April 25th, with the 22nd overall pick in the NFL draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback from the University of Toledo. And on April 26th, with the 40th overall pick, they select Cooper DeJean, cornerback from the Cooper DeDream, as he will be known from here on out, from the University of Iowa. 2 players who can make an immediate impact for a defense that ranked 30th in passing yards allowed the prior season. Again, more hope. Our next stop, September 29th, 2024, where again, find ourselves in Tampa, Florida, approximately 4 p.m. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers again defeat the Philadelphia Eagles 33-16 this time. The Eagles' struggles on offense and their inability to finish games continue to mount. Questionable play calling from head coach Nick Sirianni overshadows Saquon's incredible start to the season, leading to many, some of us here included, might I add, calling for his immediate termination. So another Eagles loss. And then something changed. After a week 5 bye, the Eagles defeat the Cleveland Browns 20-16, a game which you attended, Kyle, might I add.
A game I did attend.
They finished the season 12-1. They host 3 playoff games, 2 of which Kyle attended, all 3 of which I attended, where they get back to Super Bowl to find Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs waiting yet again, this time on the cusp of a three-peat. And the final date in our story, Kyle, February 9th, 2025, 10:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kenny Pickett knees the ball, the clock hits 0, and the Philadelphia Eagles have defeated the Kansas City Chiefs by a score of 40-22 and are crowned as Super Bowl champions yet again. Unreal.
Beautiful analysis.
Unreal. There's a quote.
Unbelievable.
There's a quote I'd like to read by Jalen Hurts. A reporter back to him. I think you remember this. It was back in like early September 2023. The reporter said, in our line of work, we might look at a quarterback throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and his team lost and say, well, the quarterback was good, but the team was bad. You don't seem to care about that. You seem to only care about, did the Eagles win? Did they not win? How did you get to that point? And you know what Jalen Hurts said? By losing.
What did he say, Matt?
By losing. Regardless of how you feel about the Philadelphia Eagles, regardless, whether you love them or despise them, it's a tough argument, in my opinion, to say that there's less people more deserving right now of a Super Bowl win than Jalen Hurts. He is the epitome of a leader, and he clearly deserves all of the spoils of being a winner. I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for this team. We're going to get into a lot more of the discussion on the game, the stats, the aftermath, what have you. But that was just probably, I mean, objectively, was it a boring game? Yes. That was probably the best game I've ever seen as an Eagles fan. I don't know about how you feel, Kyle, but that's how I feel.
I agree. This was just magical.
It was unreal. Kyle and I were again together for the game, so.
I'll just say my piece real quick for the season. As we all know, I did predict this would be the outcome at the very beginning of the season. I rewatched our first podcast where I did state that the reason why I believed in this Eagles team, despite all the question marks coming in from last year's collapse, was because I believe Saquon Barkley was a special player. I recall the weekend after he signed in free agency, having a little too many beverages in New York City with my friends and buying a Barkley jersey custom because they weren't even selling them yet to ship to my house, where it still has the old Eagles logo in the middle.
Oh, that's right. I was like, you got that custom?
Even being signed.
What's that one then?
What?
What's that one behind you then?
The one behind me. I'll get into it.
All right.
I also said that I believe the hiring of Vic Fangio, who should have been hired after the snake Jonathan Gannon. What a terrible look for Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, dude.
But
not good.
Him and the young corners drafted, Quinyon and Guantanamo Bay.
Yes,
Cooper the Dream, as he will forever be known. Cooper the Dream, as we will get into later. He and them would improve the defense. Did I expect it would be this improved? No. I also remember listening to the podcast, hearing about my bald brother, Zach Bond, hearing on the Eagle Eyes podcast, talking about training camp, how this guy seems surprising to be a starter. And me thinking in my head, maybe this guy's got something. He seems kind of special. They're bringing him up all the time. Gets an interception in the Super Bowl. Inspires my new look. Incredible. The jersey behind me, the other Saquon jersey. After my white custom one, as my tradition goes, if I wear the jersey they lose, I can't wear it anymore. As I was wearing the white jersey during the loss to the Commanders, I was like, nah, We need Barkley. I can't not wear Barkley. The man who I drafted number 1 overall in my big money fantasy league. I needed to wear him for the playoffs, and I bought this one of the more expensive Maddox ones. Nice. But I bought that, and I wore that for it showed up right before the start of the playoffs, and I wore it for every game in the playoffs, including the Super Bowl. And I even wore it at the Devils game I had to go to that I
that's
committed
commitment.
to prior.
That's
and I wore it underneath my Devils jersey, immediately went to the bathroom, swapped it on, and that was arguably the toughest game of the playoff run. Scariest one for me.
Yeah,
but
scary.
Just unbelievable season. I can't believe I know a lot of the stuff that happened. I called, even going back to March.
It's still hard to believe, dude.
And it's still hard to believe that they exceeded my own expectations when I probably had the highest expectations of any Eagles fan.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just like an absolute incredible season.
I'll say this: it really stinks that like most fans going into the season know like you're probably not gonna even make the playoffs or like compete for a Super Bowl. Like winning the Super Bowl and watching your team win the Super Bowl is like the most incredible feeling you can ever like have as a football fan.
Yeah. This is something that we can't take for granted either. Man.
No,
like I know I had we're gonna go into one of my dreams later. But I know I had a dream where obviously
I had a dream.
My karma's gonna come to bite my ass with how much I talk about the Cowboys. But I had a dream where like I have a kid in the future. And he's like, Dad, why do we like the Eagles? They stink. I was like, son, there was glory days in my 20s. Maybe you'll experience it too. And I'll sound like all the Cowboys fans.
Oh my God.
Now. But that dream is not as good
as thus is life. Thus is life. We're gonna get into all the action.
The special area.
All the action from Super Bowl 59. We'll take you drive by drive until it gets boring, because it kind of did at the end, objectively. We'll talk about some stats and stuff. We'll talk about our bets, which Kyle alluded to. I had a pretty good Super Bowl, but Kyle had a pretty great Super Bowl. So we'll talk about that. And then we'll wrap things up by just talking about where the Chiefs and Eagles are headed into this offseason. But first, always first, we got to start with some news. So a little bit of news got to get into. This news. We'll figure out something for next year. We'll have like a little jingle or something maybe. I don't know. This past Thursday was the NFL honors, where the top story was Josh Allen winning Most Valuable Player award over Lamar Jackson and Saquon Barkley, as we know, MVP quarterback award. So really, it's voting came down to Allen and Lamar. But Allen takes it home. Kyle, what are your thoughts? I know we talked about it a little bit on the last show, but I mean, do you think I don't think it's a bad either way.
I think, as I said earlier, I think I said in the last pod, I think that Josh Allen deserved to win because I think that the Bills would be a lot worse without him.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense alone's not that good, and I think Lamar, first greatest season he had. There's always voter fatigue.
Yeah,
and I feel like last year, McCaffrey honestly probably should have won MVP, and Lamar just won it just because he had the best.
You could argue it. You could argue it.
So in my opinion, I feel like he really got the MVP for this season last season.
So it's like,
and then Josh Allen,
it kind of evens out. Yeah, okay.
But I think that Lamar, I think Derrick Henry doing as well. Granted, Derrick Henry did so well because of Lamar, and vice versa.
It's true.
So I think because of that, Josh Allen kind of being by himself, like no Bills receiver, really stood out. Even the acquisition of Amari Cooper, James Cook did really well, but not like he wasn't wow factor like Emery was.
Yeah.
So I feel like that because of that, Josh Allen does deserve to win MVP. It's just a shame that Saquon didn't win it.
Yeah, I know. We love Saquon. I mean, Lamar beat him in like just about every statistical category except for rushing touchdowns. But like, I don't think anybody's gonna argue
and wins.
Yeah, what, one more win, 2 more wins. I don't think anybody's gonna argue that Josh Allen isn't the Bills' entire offense. So it's fine.
I mean, honestly, it would have been cool if they were co-MVPs, but with the system,
I think it's interesting.
It's not really possible anymore.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Lamar won first team All Pro, but then Allen won the MVP. I think that's only like the 3rd time that's ever happened.
Yeah.
So interesting, but like I don't think anybody's gonna tell you like, oh, he definitely shouldn't have won. So I think it's fine.
I just think MVP should be more than just best quarterback award, which I think that's first team all pro. And Lamar Jackson definitely was the best statistical quarterback.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think Josh Allen brings more to because the Bills I think wouldn't even be a playoff. Well,
The
maybe
Bills are arguably
but the
they're a
Bills
fringe
are
playoff
arguably
team.
like a fringe playoff team without Josh Allen.
Yeah, and they
went throw an average quarterback.
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
And they were the 2 seed. So.
Yeah.
Are fighting for the 1 seed.
Saquon did end up taking home Offensive Player of the Year. No surprises there. Joe Burrow took down the Comeback Player of the Year. Kevin O'Connell got Coach of the Year. I made a whole post about this, so if you want to see what the major award winners is, you can head over to Picks NFL on Instagram. You'll see all the award winners there.
Was cringe as fuck.
Yeah.
NFL honors.
It was kind of cringy. There's a story I heard this week that I have to talk about because it's just so asinine. So there was a report that came out Friday that evidently before Shane Waldron, remember Shane Waldron, offensive coordinator of the Bears, before he was fired in week whatever, Caleb Williams apparently had to seek outside resources to review game film because Shane Waldron wasn't doing it with him. You heard that right. He was not reviewing game film with his own quarterback. Where do you hire a guy like this? Like, honestly? Like, I think you or I could do a better job than Shane Waldron did if that's the case.
I think so, too. I'm an excellent Madden player.
Like, dude, that's crazy that he's not even looking at film. Like, all right, I'll just say this. I think everybody was wrong about Caleb Williams then. I think he gets a huge do-over.
I agree.
He gets a complete do-over.
That I think Ben Johnson is not going to be that good. If this report is true, Ben Johnson's way better than that.
Oh, dude, he gets it.
Caleb Williams, Caleb Williams did solid still.
He actually did okay.
This dysfunction. I think he's gonna be good next year.
Dude, he was coaching himself. If that's true, he was coaching himself. Complete do-over. Everything I said bad about Caleb Williams, out the door. Doesn't count. No one knew about this. No one knew.
I don't think we really said anything bad about him. I think we just.
I wasn't really high on him, but that's more because I was.
I know you weren't high.
I was. Yeah, that's probably just because I was more high on Jamie Daniels. So. Reportedly, Williams went as far as creating his own film study room to make up for the lack of coaching that Shane Waldron was doing. Absolutely crazy stuff. Can't believe that's happening in the NFL. Apologies to Caleb Williams if I said anything bad this year. Sunday afternoon, before the Super Bowl, the New York Jets officially informed Aaron Rodgers that they will be moving on from the 41-year-old quarterback this offseason. Rodgers flew to New Jersey last week to meet with Jets owner Woody Johnson and new general manager Darren Muji, where he was told that he will not be a Jet in 2025. So what's next for the Jets? I mean, you looked at it last week, right? When we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, we both said Aaron Rodgers.
He was gonna stay. He was gonna stay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I gave a scenario for both, and I still like my scenario for the Jets, which is I think they should go after Justin Fields because you can get him for cheap. I think he's definitely the best of the bunch when it comes to like free agent quarterbacks. You could still even if it doesn't work out, it's probably not going to cost you that much. So I think that's what you do. I think you try and get Justin Fields or like someone. I haven't looked at like the whole list of free agent.
I think maybe
quarterbacks
because that can bring some excitement to the Jets.
Oh my god, please, dude! If JMO was a Jet, I would rip Jets games. I would rip Jets games next year.
I think it'd be fun. I think honestly, the Browns should have kept him in. To be honest, they just didn't want to win games anymore.
No, they were tanking. They were tanking.
Yeah. So I think JMO deserves a chance, and I think that would be more fun. That brings some eyeballs to the Jets.
Absolutely.
And I think that they won't be good enough where they can hopefully get a quarterback next year.
Yeah.
Quarterback draft class this year, low key kind of booty cheeks.
It's kind of mid, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next for Rodgers then? Like I heard maybe like Pittsburgh or like
Pat McAfee show co-host
or retire. Yeah, you think he's gonna retire?
I think Pittsburgh or retirement. I don't really see another team.
Dude, like who needs a quarterback?
That he really fits with.
Like
that needs a quarterback.
Is it the Raiders? It could be a year off.
I could see the Raiders, the Steelers, or retirement. I really do not see any other team in a position to like.
Yeah,
it's like a quarterback away. Every other the teams that needs a quarterback are dumpster fires.
Yeah, and like they're in a rebuild. So.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I'm Rodgers, I just retire, dude. Honestly. Like, what more do you have to prove? Like, it didn't work out. You gave it 2 more years with the Jets. It just didn't work out. Like, Go on to greener pastures. Retire.
The thing is,
People will
like
remember you fondly.
Like Devontae is going to be part of the deal, and like I don't think Devontae if Devontae wants to go back to the Raiders. That's what makes me think it's Steelers
Oh
or bust.
yeah, you're probably right. So Raiders are probably out because
I
he
think
might
it's
want to
Steelers
stay with
because
Devontae.
Rodgers has said nice stuff about Tomlin, and I don't think Tomlin wants to wrestle anymore and stuff. And
Yeah,
Tomlin's low key kind of on the hot seat. Talking with Steelers fans, they're just kind of sick
Liz,
of like this purgatory that they're
where
in.
do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to go next year?
To a retirement home.
She said to a retirement home.
I think it's Steelers or retirement. I don't really see another team that really works.
I think I agree with you. On that. Finally, this afternoon, fresh news. Kellen Moore, Eagles offensive coordinator, officially accepted an offer from the New Orleans Saints to become their next head coach. I'm seeing additional reports that suggest that former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley, remember him? He could be joining Moore in New Orleans as their new defensive coordinator.
Ooh.
Thank you, Kellen Moore. I knew it was going to happen.
Thank you, Kellen Moore.
I knew.
I love you.
I think we all knew it was going to happen. Unfortunately, that's just the way.
Yeah.
It's the way the dice roll in the NFL.
Dude, can you imagine having Kellen Moore as your offensive coordinator and not winning a Super Bowl?
Yeah, if you're a Cowboys fan.
No, I mean, it's all the Chargers, but we know they don't have any fans. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, wait, that's right. I completely forgot that Moore was the OC there when he was.
Dude, Kellen
head coach.
Moore,
I completely
honestly,
forgot that.
like just he didn't get fired from Dallas. He just chose to leave. Best thing for his career.
Oh my God, yeah. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine? He was still stuck in Dallas under Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones has him by the nuts.
Yeah, did you also hear the reports that they're looking to maybe trade Micah?
I heard that. I saw that. But we knew
Micah
that.
to Eagles.
But we knew that.
My next, which I think I brought up multiple times in this podcast. My next I don't know what to call it. I guess manifestation for Eagle signing, because I have a really good record of manifesting Eagle signings.
Like who? Who's on your resume?
Barkley. Got Barkley. Got, Kevin Byard.
Kevin Byard. We traded for him, and he stunk.
I wanted Kevin Byard to be an Eagle.
Actually, he wasn't too bad. But
he wasn't too bad. Who's the Colt that we got?
Paris Campbell.
He was bad. He was bad though. It was last year. It was a linebacker. He doesn't even play anymore.
Oh, Isaiah Rodgers.
Yes, not Isaiah. Middle linebacker. He was really good, but then he kind of fell off a cliff. We got him.
Oh, Shaq Leonard.
Shaq Leonard, yeah, he was manifested. Devin White, granted, that also didn't work, but that was manifested.
Bro, I thought Shaq Leonard was going to be so good.
Jahan Dotson, low-key, was manifested.
Hey, he stepped up these last couple games.
He did step up.
He stepped up, man.
Cooper DeJean.
I wanted Cooper. I wanted Cooper. That was like the only guy I wanted on draft night was Cooper DeJean.
I can't think
freaking
of
got him
offhand, but those are the ones.
All right, all right. Well, recently we'll call you into 1 for 1. We'll call you 1 for 1 recently.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Oh, Alshon was one I manifested. If you remember?
Did we sign him? Right? They signed him
during free agency in that Eagles group chat. I was like, they're gonna get Alshon. They're gonna get Alshon. They're gonna get Alshon. So there's another one.
All right.
And Deshaun Jackson coming back. It's a lot. I did it. I'm
it's
very
a lot.
good at
I got it. I got sources. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about Super Bowl 59, live from the Superdome in New Orleans. Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles. Chiefs win the toss and defer, and the Eagles start with the ball. I'll say right off the bat, because objectively it was a good game for I would say a quarter and a half, probably something like that. I would say the first 25 minutes were entertaining if you were a fan of neither team.
Yeah.
Because it was still close at that point, and it was still we don't know, Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs, they do some comeback crazy black magic. So we'll start in the Eagles' first drive. Right off the bat, it's immediately apparent the Chiefs' defense is keying on Saquon Barkley. That'll be a theme throughout the game. Eagles pick up a first down. It was a nice throw from Jalen to Devontae on the run. Nick Bolton made a nice tackle on Saquon out in the flat. So it's 3rd and 11 Eagles. Hurts scrambles to make it 4th and 2 from the Chiefs' 48. And Kyle, this is where we get one of several either missed or bad calls in this football game. And I'll just say, they made it a point to get the officiating right in this game. After all the questions from the reporters on Monday and Tuesday during media day to the Chiefs players, like, who's your favorite ref, this and that, and they still managed to mess it up. Would you agree with what I'm about to say, which is this is like one of the worst years for officials, like, period. It's one of the worst years.
I think I might have to disagree with you, Matt.
It was so bad this year. It was across the board bad.
I think that officiating has always had questionable calls. I think that as someone who does partake in it, does like it, I think the advantation of sports gambling and how big it has gotten over the years.
I know you've said that before.
Made it so that every single ticky-tacky call has so much money on it, not just for the money lines, but all the props, all that jazz.
No, I get it.
That it puts such a bigger spotlight on officiating. And I think as much as I love gambling, it's fun. Obviously, you got to do it responsibly.
Right.
I think it's getting to a point where even like I can see it now where it's the NFL's doing it obviously for the money, but it's going to start eventually. And you could see a little bit of the rust now with how we're complaining about the officials and how before this game, 70% of NFL fans believe the NFL's rigged.
I don't know
how much money's in it, how big it's getting. It's going to erode the fabrics of the sports. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully we get better officiating. Hopefully there's better regulations on it. It's kind of ridiculous that every other ad is gambling.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It
needs to be regulated.
Obviously, like, I know I gamble responsibly. I set limits. And I know that, like, sometimes just based on how I talk and what I do, I'm kind of shocked at how much I gamble for a day or something. That's why I put limits in.
Yeah, right.
And I think it is a serious problem. And I think the fact that it's so accessible now, I think we're just starting to see the effects of it. And I think they really need to start regulating it. And obviously they need to do better officiating in terms of how I want to watch the game and to keep the game integrity fine.
It's a fair point.
It's definitely becoming a problem. And I think okay, I think I said my point.
It's a fair point. Like, it's a very fair point, and it shouldn't be understated, right? Like, you can literally, like, dude, I got Super Bowl gear. I bought Super Bowl gear after the game, and literally the first thing from Fanatics was sign up for our sportsbook bet. We'll match your money in deposits, which I actually thought about doing because it's spent a few bucks on that. But
I've already done it. So
regardless,
I
never really look at, like, I'm just a fan, right? I just want to see a clean game, and like I agree with you with the sports betting. It's become like, every single play is under the microscope, but I think it's more so that the NFL just refuses to evolve. Like, we talked about the boundary cameras earlier in the season, where some stadiums have a camera right down the line, others don't, so that and they can't use that camera angle because all the stadiums don't have it. They refuse to, like, even try to implement technology where they can accurately spot the ball. Like, it's things like that. They refuse to evolve, and they always keep the same refs around. Like, we know that, like, some of them are better than others, and it's like, no, you should just always have the best product out there. You should always try and strive for perfection. I know it's not going to be perfect, but you should always strive for perfection. I went in favor of the Chiefs this postseason, and it was under scrutiny, and the NFLPA and the Officials Association, they had to come out and make statements about it. So, yeah, there were a lot of eyes on this game. They still messed it up. I don't think this was granted, it didn't matter, right? In the grand scope of things, the Eagles crushed them. It didn't matter. But it still wasn't right. So, anyway, what was it? 4th and 2, or 4th and 3, I forget what it was. Hurts completes the ball to A.J. Brown on 4th down. Huge gain, sets the Eagles up in the red zone. They call OPI on Brown, and it's like, they're forced to punt. Dude, he barely touched him, right? So he got separated.
He did touch his helmet.
Barely. He didn't shove him.
So you can argue that it was ticky-tacky. I honestly believe that the officials got a call from New York after that, being like, cut this shit out.
Yeah.
Because they did one makeup call later in the first quarter.
Oh my gosh,
for the Eagles' benefit.
It's so
I think
bad.
that they like like I know Matt, like even when they were up by so much, Matt was screaming about misholds.
Oh, trust me. I have them written down,
they
Kyle.
definitely
I have
told
them written
people-
down.
They told the refs later on, like, because there was also the with Mahomes with Jalen Carter with his hand up in his face, and they didn't call
Bro,
that.
it's
I think they definitely made a call being like, "Yo, don't." do
guess
any
what?
more
I've got
ticky-tacky shit.
I've got that one written down too. I've got them all written down. I'll highlight them throughout here, but then tell me how Mike Pereira, the rules analyst, comes on right after and said it's a bad call. It's pussy ball.
Well, I hopefully that the statement that they made that they're going to expand the as replay assist, which I think low key has been phenomenal. I think that's not getting talked about enough.
You're right.
I
You're
think if they
right. I like
expand
replay.
it to for these ticky tacky calls,
It's been a lot better.
like the more like defensive pass interference.
We need it on that.
Passer.
We need it on
if
that.
they expanded on that, I think that will fix a lot of these issues. But as I said before, I think bad officiating is just part of the game. It always has been. But I think the emphasis on gambling has really made it.
They should have
every single call gets analyzed because there's so much money on every single play.
They should have a dude who watches the sky camera and has access to that and can just rewind it and see from literally any camera angle.
Well, yeah, that's what the replay assist is, and hopefully
but they should have that for every play, though. Is what I'm saying. Not just scoring plays, not just.
Hopefully, what they do for they did the for like inbounds, out of bounds kind of stuff.
Yes,
if they
everything,
keep that for everything, then it should be better.
Then it should be
Hopefully
better.
That's the case. The NFL always is trying to improve their product. I wouldn't be surprised if they start doing that. Also, when the Bills lose to the Chiefs, they always make big rule changes.
You are right. So anyway, opening drive for the Eagles, bad call. Eagles have to punt. They call OPI. So now it's the Chiefs' turn. Mahomes picks up a first down on a throw on the Chiefs' first offensive play. This will be an important play. Remember this play, Kyle. Okay, 11 minutes, 21 seconds left in the first quarter. The Chiefs pick up a first down. Remember that play. Kelce drops the ball on second down. CJ was in on the play. Remember he literally had his freaking arms behind his back, and like Kelce got up all aggro. And
there was that tackle from Xavier Worthy that you're missing. Cooper DeJean tackles Xavier Worthy when he honestly had a decent amount of space. That was on the first down after the first down.
Oh yeah, maybe it was that one then.
He got tackled for 1 yard, and then Travis.
Oh yeah, whatever.
It was kind of a bad throw, but Kelce did not look like himself.
Nah, dude,
I think he's gonna retire.
He made a couple drops. I don't know. They were out of sync.
I think he's gonna retire.
Yeah, but no. Then the second down play, CJ was like Kelce got up all aggro, and he was just like with his hands behind his back, like, dude, hit me.
I think he's gonna retire. The only reason why I think he might not is just because of how embarrassing this game was.
Then he has to like prove that it's the same.
He doesn't want this to be his last game.
Yeah,
I think he was out of shape coming into the year. He was not himself. Granted,
he didn't look like
phenomenal.
himself. He didn't look like himself.
Top tier tight end, but did not look like how he has been. Yeah. I think seeing Jason enjoy retirement and how like he wants to do the movies and stuff. He wants to hang out with Taylor. I think he's done.
I'm sure he's talking about it.
I think how embarrassing this was. I think he might be back for another year. Yeah. But we'll wait and see.
I'm sure he is. So that brings up third and long. The Eagles get all after Mahomes. The ball's nearly picked on this play. So
they did dime coverage here.
Yeah, I believe they did.
That's what I thought. I remember by pointing this out. Isaiah Rodgers blocked the first down or whatever after Mahomes got scrambling around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, oh my god, did somebody get hurt? But no, they were just in dime and they had Rodgers in as an extra.
Yeah, I remember you saying you were like, why isn't he in? Why isn't he in?
Usually whenever I see Rodgers in, I'm like, shit, Slater.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, literally. So the Eagles force a punt, no harm, no foul. Eagles next drive, Chiefs D continues to put the clamps on Saquon. Can't really find any space. Chiefs were just really keying it. Like they had 7 or 8 in the box on a lot of these plays, so they were really just keying in. The Eagles pass protection though on this drive was just outstanding. Hurts hooked up with Goddard, moved it into the Chiefs territory. 3rd and 5, Hurts he just misfired to Goddard. This was the play.
He overshot
again. It's the ref show, so we have to have a makeup call, right? It's a light hit to the head. It's less egregious than the Brown call, in my opinion. It's still not. I still don't agree with it. So
I think it's about the same as the Brown.
It's probably close.
I disagree that you think that it's less.
I think it's a bit less egregious, but
I think it is a makeup call.
It's a
but I
makeup
think
call.
that-
It's at the end of the day,
I
it's a
think
makeup
that
call.
they both are technically by rule penalties.
They're not penalties, guys. Trust me. So it's a flag. I don't agree with it. Moves the 6 though. So the Eagles hit the first down. Then on the next play, Hurts hooks up with Jahan Dotson. Jahan.
My boy.
It's initially ruled a 27-yard touchdown pass. Replay shows he's just short. So it's Jalen Hurts time. Push into the end zone. 4-6. Eagles take the lead. 7-0. So Eagles get on the board. Chiefs ensuing possession. 3 and out. Pressure on third down by Nolan Smith, Josh Sweat, causing Mahomes to misfire on a pass to Hollywood Brown. Chiefs punt. And by the way, I don't know if you like. I went back and watched the game a couple times because I'm a psychopath. I watched once to take notes and then once just to freaking watch it. But when I was looking back to see the notes, to take notes, this punt by Matt Ariza traveled 71 yards. It was insane, dude. Got a leg. Touchback. Crazy. From the 30, right? So he punted the ball from literally.
It was 60 yards.
It was 60. Yeah, it was 60 yards, but he punted it 71 yards because he was back further. It was crazy.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and the touchback yards too. So crazy. So the Eagles back in business.
Oh, it was 60. They punted at the. Oh yeah, I guess.
I'm saying added.
Oh yeah.
It was a boom. It was a boom.
It was a boom.
Boom.
That punt gets a
boom. So the Eagles are back in business. They have the football. They find themselves on an early 3rd down and 8 situation. Hurts finds Devontae Smith, makes a nice little move, moves the sticks. And then you can really just start to see the demeanor set in for Jalen Hurts. He was really calm in the pocket, wasn't jumpity, wasn't, thinking twice about his decision making. Granted, the pass protection was, again, outstanding this game, but he was just very, very comfortable in the pocket, made all the right decisions. Next play, Hurts goes back to Dotson, moves the sticks again. Bro, then they bring out the monster gun formation where they had
I know that was weird.
Bro, so for those of you who don't know what the monster gun is, it's 3 O-linemen and then a 3-man stack on either side. And then it was Gainwell to the left of Hurts in the gun. So literally, it's the Super Bowl. You got to empty the playbook, right? Like, I was like, what the hell? Are we running the monster? Like, okay. It's a 4-yard gain. Like, okay. But Eagles are facing later a 3rd and 4. They're on the cusp of field goal range. It's an all-out blitz by the Chiefs, and it's successful. They get to Hurts immediately. It's sacked. Looks like the Eagles are going to have to punt. But Charles Omenihu is offsides, and it's a 3rd and 4. It's a 5-yard penalty. That means it's a first down for Eagles. So, huge.
That one was an actual penalty.
That one was actually a good call. No, that was a good call. A failed QB keeper by Hurts takes us to the end of the first quarter. So it is 7-0 Eagles over the Chiefs. Second quarter. Eagles still have the football. It's 3rd and long. The Chiefs rush 4, but McDuffie comes in on a corner blitz. Juergens misses his protection on
Pressure.
Nick Bolton, who comes screaming up the middle. Hurts throws up a prayer, and Brian Cook of the Chiefs picks it off at the Chiefs' 2-yard line. This is a great play. Not just, Cook saw it all the way. Like, granted, it was an underthrown ball, right? So it wasn't the best play.
Jalen's worst throw of the night.
There was one other throw that I thought was worse, but I'll get to that. But yeah, it wasn't a good ball. It was well short of where Brown, for Brown to make a play on it.
I blame my sister for this. She left the room when this happened.
Every time Jenny was in the room.
Every time something bad happened, my sister left the room. So we forced her to stay. Only good things happen. Essentially.
This was just a breakdown in coverage. Cam Juergens just kind of missed his block. Jalen didn't pick it up quite right. So Chiefs take advantage. It's the Eagles' lone turnover of the year, or of the playoffs, I should say.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs take over. Immediately, the Chiefs find themselves on a 3rd down. And this is another play where Kelsey is kind of off. Mahomes fires low to Kelsey. Can't hang on to it. It does hit him in the hands, but he doesn't catch it. So it's a quick 3 and out for the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are punting again. So Kansas City fans probably a little worried at this point. We're not moving the football. We have 1 first down. What's going on here? So they punt again. Eagles next drive. Chiefs continue to pressure Hurts up the middle. Hurts is able to use his leg to pick up some crucial yards. He connects with A.J. Brown on 3rd and 7 on basically what was the same play as the 4th down play, or the 3rd down, or it was 4th down.
Over Trent McDuffie.
Yeah. He was just bullying Trent McDuffie all night. He was creating all sorts of separation. This time, no flag. It's a game of 22. Barkley still can't really find any room to run. I did notice the Eagles did make a nice adjustment, though. They started to flip it out to Barkley a little bit more, like in the flat.
Yeah, to just give him the ball.
Just to try and get him the ball, right. So it's a 3rd down for the Eagles. Justin Reed makes a nice tackle to bring up 4th down. And the Eagles settle for 3. But wait, Kyle, there's a flag.
Flag!
So the Chiefs are clearly offsides. It should be a first down for the Eagles, but they call a false start on the long snapper for doing a normal amount of long snapper head movement. You guys see him do this before? Like the center sometimes does? Yeah, normal amount of head movement. No, now in Super Bowl 59, guess what? That's a flag, apparently. So instead of a first down for the Eagles, it's now a longer field goal attempt for the Eagles. Jake Elliott made the first attempt, squeaks in his second attempt, so it's still good. But yeah, another instance where, what are we doing, officials? What are we doing? So 10-0 Eagles. Chiefs got the ball back. Swallowed up by Josh Sweat on his first play. Josh Sweat, what a hell of a game he had, didn't he?
Hell of a game by Josh Sweat. He's about to get a lot of money.
I thought he was going to make a case for MVP.
Dude, honestly, thinking back on it, he was at the trade block during the offseason, during the summer, and he had to take a pay cut to stay.
Yeah, because it
That's
was
insane.
It was all cap. Yeah, I mean,
it's 2.5 sacks in the Super Bowl.
We'll talk about it a little later.
Causes the pressure that leads to the Cooper to dream.
Cooper to dream. So yeah, Mahomes gets swallowed up by Josh Sweat on their first play. Next play is more of the same, and this is kind of when you start to realize, right? Like the Chiefs are flustered, man. Like.
Yeah.
And the Eagles are like rushing forward. The Chiefs have 5 on the line for most of these plays. Mahomes, he's not set in the pocket at all. The protection is sliding like all over the place, and the Eagles are just expertly picking apart the protection. So like at this point, I'm starting to feel good. I'm like, we're getting to them. We're doing a lot of good things. What happens next, Kyle, might be my favorite football play of all time.
The dream.
Mahomes drops back to throw. He's pressured again. There's a missed hold call on Jawan Taylor because it's Jalen Carter, because of course you can't call holding against Jalen Carter. He misfires over the middle of the field, and it's picked off by Cooper DeJean at the 40-yard line.
The dream.
Cuts across the field, picks up a few blocks, and he's in for the Eagles touchdown. And now it's 17-0 Eagles with 7 minutes left in the half. And the Chiefs have 20 net yards at this point.
Wow.
Interesting. This play, we all were thinking Cooper's going to win MVP at this point if the Eagles hold on. Like, this would be...
No, honestly, if only the defense could... Honestly, I love Jalen Hurts. I know he won MVP.
Yeah.
But the whole... Vic Fangio, if anything, should have won it.
Bro, like, yeah, like, if you could vote for the Eagles defense...
MVC.
Yeah, if you could...
Yeah, Eagles defense. Like, if it's fantasy, it's just Eagles defense.
Yeah,
teams.
that would have been my vote a million times over, but obviously you can't do that. Dude, I mean, this is his first career interception, right? I don't know if I have that right.
His first career interception, his first career touchdown, all in the Super Bowl. Something that could be a dream for him, or a dream for me.
If my... Oh, yeah. All right, go ahead. I know we were going to wait till later.
Let's take us back to that. Let's take us back to, I believe it was the Wednesday night before. Let's post the podcast, so unfortunately I couldn't tell you guys. But Wednesday night before the Super Bowl. Actually, I can tell you the date because I can just look at when I placed the bet. But anyway, I believe it was the Wednesday night before the Super Bowl. I go to sleep. I wake up. I had this crazy dream where I could see Patrick Mahomes rolling out, throwing the ball, picked by Cooper DeJean for his first career interception.
That's
but
insane.
wait, he wants some more. He returns it all the way for a touchdown that helps lead to the Eagles winning over the Chiefs. I'm like, wow, what a vivid dream. It reminds me of a dream I had a couple years ago, where I dreamed Mecole Hardman would
Oh,
score a
yeah.
touchdown against the Baltimore Ravens in Week 4, and I added that to my parlay, and that parlay hit, and it was amazing. So this one was like another very vivid dream, and I was like, I can't bet specifically Cooper DeZean to get a touchdown.
Yeah, you can.
So I was like, but I can bet him to get a pick, and I can bet the defense to score. So I put $25 on Cooper.
Yeah, wait, I never
DeZean.
asked you what did you bet and what was the payout?
So it was less. I think at the time I was just so like worked up and like overestimating and stuff. It ended up being not $500, like I said. It was more like 350.
That's
But
still
I rounded
great.
up.
But
I
round it up. What does that mean?
I bet $25 on
Round
him
it
to
up.
get a pick to win. I think that was to win most of the money. I think that was to win like 250. And the other 100 was I bet $10 or I bet maybe $15, 10 or 15. I can't remember off the top of my head for the defense to score.
Oh, so you didn't
So
lay
they
it?
both combined. I couldn't lay it. It wouldn't let me.
What?
So I had to bet them individually.
Bruh, how would it?
But they both hit.
How? What? How could that not? How could you not lay that?
I don't know. It wouldn't let me lay it.
That's bull.
The MGM is weird with the laying.
That's stupid.
That was my play.
I would have placed it
and
for you on
was
DK if I knew
incredible.
that.
Well, I just
Should have told me.
This is my dream.
Yeah, this.
But I told just in case if you ever I told Matt did not know about.
I didn't know about that until it
I
happened.
did tell my father the morning of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did.
And I told one of my good friends, Ben, over the phone, I think that day, because I think I called him on my way home from work after the dream, and I told him, and he texted me, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
When it happened.
That's crazy.
The dream has been corroborated. The dream was real.
Absolutely.
He is forever
dude.
Cooper the dream.
The dream.
I don't know what I'm gonna do to celebrate the dream.
You should have got his jersey.
I'm gonna figure it out.
That's what you should have done.
Special.
I love this jersey, by the way.
I can still get it.
I love it. It's so nice. I want 6 more. That's how much I love him. Yeah, dude, this might be my favorite. I mean, if my voice.
This was the play that I was like, oh my god, the dream came true.
Yeah.
I think that at this point,
you were thinking they were gonna.
I didn't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
But at this point,
you were thinking it.
Was thinking they're gonna win.
I was thinking we were in a great position. We're in position to be in position. If my voice sounds a little shoddy right now, it's probably because I was screaming during this play. I think this is the play
the entire room.
The entire dude. I was like,
blew up.
I was jumping for joy, dude. I was jumping for joy on this play. This was awesome. This was awesome.
Yeah.
So now it's 17-0 Eagles. Like I said, 7 minutes left in the half. Chiefs get the ball back. First 2 plays, net gain of 1 yard on 2 runs. Third down. Mahomes is pressured again, and this time it's Milton Williams with the sack, and the Chiefs punt again, another 3-and-out for Kansas City.
See, this is another. You get a 3-and-out after that pick. I think Nick Wright said it. He was feeling a little nervous. That was great. I don't know if you watched him.
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to. I know.
Great hate watch. But anyway. He was like wow, they didn't answer back, and I was like, wow, they didn't answer back. My feelings confirmed. I mean, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to jinx it because I was like, what if they pull in Atlanta here? That would
right.
So but in my heart, I was like, they won the game.
I mean, I was thinking it. How could you not be thinking a little bit? But I didn't want to get ahead of myself. So Eagles take over. They chew some clock, a few runs. There's a holding call and a sack. Makes it 2nd and 26. But after an incompletion, Nick Bolton tackles Saquon Barkley a little too late. I don't know. I mean, bang, bang.
It's a bang, bang, but I think it was the penalty.
Whatever. Unnecessary after this penalty. First down, Eagles. Eagles now have a 3rd and 3 from midfield. A.J. Brown again beats Trent McDuffie. This is the one where I thought this was his worst throw. Misfires quite badly on A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown had him beat dead to run. Dead to rights. A.J. Brown had him beat dead to rights. It could have been a touchdown, honestly.
He definitely underthrew. I forgot about this stuff.
Yeah. So Hurts misfires. Eagles are forced to punt. So at this point, now I'm thinking, right, this is how the Chiefs get back in the game, right? Right here. Get 2 timeouts under 2 minutes. This is how, or about 2 minutes. This is how they get back in the game, right? They're gonna go down, get some points. They'll make it a game at half. They get the ball first at the end of the half. It's a great punt by Brandon Mann, by the way. It's a great punt. It's down at the Chiefs' 6-yard line. On the first play, Josh Sweat literally moves physically picked up Joe Thuney and moved him into Patrick Mahomes as he's throwing the football. He bumps him, causing Mahomes to misfire. And Zach Bond, who, I mean, dude, this guy was a veteran minimum guy, came in from New Orleans.
My boy.
He was supposed to be a death piece for the Eagles this year. He turned out to be
edge rusher.
He turned out to finish top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year voting. And now he's got himself an interception in the Super Bowl. What an absolute! I mean, I know it was obviously impacted. Like Mahomes' throw was obviously impacted by what Josh Sweat did. This was a hell of an interception, diving catch, and he made sure to make contain the football. Unbelievable play. We're jumping for joy again. We're screaming. Yeah. We're hollering. After a Hurts 2-yard gain, Hurts finds A.J. Brown on a drag route.
Back-to-back pass attempts for interceptions by Mahomes.
Oh, dude, crazy. It's crazy. So after a 2-yard gain by Hurts, Hurts finds A.J. Brown on a drag route, and he's in for another Eagles touchdown.
We both called that touchdown. We saw A.J. on the broadcast.
We saw so
like, throw it to A.J.
It was.
Throw it to
I believe it was trips left, and then Brown was the lone on the right, and I saw. I forget if it was Goddard or.
You see the back of his jersey. He beat the guy.
Well, no, I saw Brown beat his man, but I knew the play because I think it was a stick route, and they just sent Brown on a drag, and they had like Devontae being the crosser. As soon as I forget if it was Devontae or Dotson, but I saw one of the guys crossing the field, and I'm like, oh my God, Brown's gonna come. And like as I'm thinking he's gonna come across, I'm like, he beat his man, throw the ball. And it was like waiting for it felt so long. It felt like, but. He's in for the touchdown. And now it's 24-0 Eagles. And I'm like, is this real life? Like, are we actually watching this right now? Like, this is crazy. So the Chiefs' next drive, stymied by a holding call on first down. Third down, and then this is like, this is how you know it's just the Eagles' night. Third down, Mahomes finds Hopkins wide open downfield for what honestly could have been a touchdown, right? Because Hopkins just has that speed.
Yeah, there was not even anybody. Really back there.
There was nobody. The safety bit on the other side of the field. Like the corner was beat. Could have walked in potentially. Drops it wide open, and he drops it, and the Chiefs have to punt again to end the half. So the Eagles knee. It's halftime, and it's 24-0 Philadelphia.
Wow.
I'm beside myself. I'm like, oh my God, we might actually do this. And at this point, I'm like, right, it's not over yet. It's Mahomes. They're gonna come back. They're gonna score points. So it takes us to halftime. What'd you think of the halftime show, by the way?
Oh, it was cool. I'm not the biggest rap guy, but I thought the visuals were cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think the message he's trying to convey, that was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, well,
I liked Samuel Jackson.
I was trying to find a bet on whether Kendrick Lamar called out Donald Trump or not.
Did you realize that one girl's dancing with Serena Williams? That she dated Drake?
What, on stage?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. No, I had no idea. Jesus. But yeah, bro. They were like
doing the whole thing where like, is he gonna play the song that calls Drake a pedophile? Also,
yeah,
the A on his chain was A minor.
Oh,
for A minor in music,
bro. Dude, the whole stadium chanting that Drake is a pedophile essentially was awesome. that was literally career ending for Aubrey Drake Graham.
Drake's career over. Big rep.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna play some stuff from Good Kid, Mad City, which I think is his best album ever, but he didn't. So I mean, it was cool though. I didn't mind it. I thought it was all right.
Cool.
So the Chiefs get the ball first to start the second half. And with 14:37 left in the third quarter, Xavier Worthy picks up the second Chiefs first down of the game. Remember that play I told you to remember earlier? Remember that? The 11 minutes left.
First down of the first half, their first play.
27 minutes of game time had passed between Chiefs first downs. Wild. So after the first down, Mahomes is sacked on back-to-back plays. Jordan Davis, Josh Sweat again. 2.5 sacks he's up to, which is why I was like, dude, he's going to win MVP, right? 2.5 sacks. Pretty freaking good. Yeah, the protection is just non-existent. Mahomes is dumbfounded in the pocket. He's like actually making mistakes now. He's completely flustered.
Got Jordan Davis sack, Josh Sweat sack.
Crazy. So those 2 sacks ultimately force another Eagles punt. The next Eagles drive,
Yeah, pump.
there's a 3rd and 5. Chiefs come screaming off the edge. Mailata is beat. Jalen Hurts should be sacked on this play. This I looked at it like I was watching it with Liz earlier, just like looking at it and like trying to break it down. He senses it and picks up a 16 and a first down. It was just an unbelievable
He had an incredible game on the
these-
ground. He had some like Saquon got bottled up, which was honestly you could tell that was the Chiefs'
yeah.
biggest game plan, and they succeeded in that.
Mm-hmm.
But like obviously, all the media before the game were like, "If you stop Saquon, you'll stop the Eagles." And Eagles still run 40 on these mofos.
Not if you watched the podcast last week. That's not what we
If
said.
you watched the podcast,
We knew.
Jalen,
We just
this happened. Arguably, this honestly happened. I think I said this in the podcast last time, but this honestly happened in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The defense was ass.
yeah, literally.
They were like, "Oh, we're gonna let Jalen try to beat us because their run game is
He
so
did.
good." Miles Sanders had a horrible game.
He did.
Jalen did.
Yeah,
It's
literally.
just their defense was ass.
I mean, Hurts was just in such a rhythm in that 3rd quarter. Honestly, he just did everything right.
This is the quarter that won him MVP with these.
Yeah,
scrambles.
dude.
We'll
Honestly,
get to the dagger, but
yeah, it was just an unbelievable play, and you saw this time and time again where he's just stepping up at the exact right time. He's making all of the right reads. Like he was money in the second half. Barkley ended up getting his longest run of the game on this drive, a pickup of 10. There's another game of 14 by Hurts on an all-out blitz. Then we got more of the ref show. Another missed holding call allows Hurts to find Barkley for a gain of 22. Complete hold. Should have been a hold. I don't know how it wasn't a hold. I don't remember who it was against, but I know it was a hold because I saw it. So it's 1st and goal Eagles now. KC defense, they do what they do. They're going to hold strong in the red zone. Eagles try and run it a couple of times. Doesn't work out. And then completion on 3rd down makes it 4th down. Eagles take the 3 points as they should in that situation. And make it a 27-0 game. And that Eagles drive took almost 7 minutes off the clock. So that's huge. At this point, I'm starting to think if we have one more of those drives, this game is over and we hold them again. If we have one more of those drives, So the Chiefs get the ball back. Couple of plays. Oren Burks forced a fumble on. Remember the insane scramble that Mahomes had. It was called back due to a holding. But it is what it is. Oren Burks forced the fumble, but Mahomes ultimately covered it. So with 2:52 left in the 3rd quarter, the Chiefs are facing a 4th and 4 their own 47. This is do or die time, right? This is the game, essentially. This is arguably where you get to see Patrick Mahomes at his weakest during this game. I know he had the pick 6. I know he had the other interception. He was all over the place in the pocket. This is where you see the impact of the Eagles defense on him. He actually has time to throw on this play, right? But he's been pressured so much that he short arms it and he throws behind DeAndre Hopkins, who was open for the 1st down. I think he had him beat. But he short arms it, throws behind him, and that allows Avonte Maddox to break up the pass, and the Eagles take over. And at this point, reality is starting to set in. I'm like, this is it. We're going to win, right? And if reality hadn't set in already, the Eagles' first play on the ensuing possession, it's a play-action pass. Devontae Smith runs past everybody, wide open. Jalen Hurts drops it right in the bucket. Eagles touchdown, 1 play. What a dot. That's the dagger. 34-0.
Evan Burkhurst's called this play.
Oh, dude, it was so great. It was so.
Eagles looking to run the ball. It's play action. There's no dagger.
He goes like Eagles looking to take some time off the clock or go for the dagger. Devontae Smith. It was such a great call.
Oh, incredible.
I honestly thought
this was the moment where I brewed some beer earlier last year.
Yeah.
The Snook. I saved 1 bottle. I decided I think back in November I was like I'm gonna save 1 bottle for when the Eagles win the Super Bowl, and that was my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I saved it, and I was like I'm gonna crack it open in the 4th quarter, no matter the score. And right when this happened, I was like, the game's over.
Yeah.
I'm cracking open the bottle.
Yeah. This is when we knew that it was over, like for real this time. 34-0. 34. It still doesn't feel real coming off my lips. We were beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. 34-0.
34-0. At this point, crazy. I will say, Pat Mahomes' stat line.
Oh yeah, give us an
going
update.
Into that drive, post the dagger, 9 for 18, 61 yards, 2 interceptions, and 5 sacks. Wow.
Yeah. So this one's pretty much over now.
Not my goat.
Yeah, not mine. I don't claim him. Chiefs ensuing drive. Mahomes finds Worthy on the first play for 50 yards.
Yeah.
Great tackle by DeJean. He saves a touchdown on that play, but finally something from the Chiefs. He had a nice little flip play to Kelsey on this drive. There was a hold on this play. Wasn't called. Very clear on the. Go watch.
Only Matt
Go.
would complain about
Go
a missed
watch.
hold
Go watch.
up
Oh, I
34-0.
don't care. I don't care what the score is.
Matt screamed
Call it
for
right.
this hold like he screamed for like the bad OPI flag at the very beginning.
I don't care, dude. I don't care. I
0-0.
wanted to beat them 60-0. I literally wanted. That's what I wanted. I didn't want them to have any points.
I just wanted to win.
I wanted a shutout at that point. So Mahomes ends up finding Worthy in the end zone for 6 on this play. 43 seconds left in the third quarter at this point. Chiefs are finally on the board. They go for 2 and do not get it. And with that, your boy won $100 on boxes because I had 4 and 6. So
yay!
Thank you, Eagles defense, for holding them out on that 2-point conversion. That basically takes us to the end of the third quarter. It's 34-6 Eagles. Their next drive.
Fire the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I don't have much for the fourth quarter, but we'll go through it. Eagles' next drive takes another 5:30 off the clock. Jalen had a couple of nice runs. He had his QB scramble for 17 yards. Chiefs continue to apply pressure, flush him out of the pocket. Jake Elliott ultimately connects on a 48-yard field goal, which makes it 37-6 Eagles. So at this point, just for the math, right? The Chiefs needed 4 scores and 4 2-point conversions to take the lead, right? So they're in the hole. On the Chiefs' first play of their next drive, Mahomes drops back again, as he always does. He's immediately hit by Milton Williams, who pops the ball loose, and he recovers it himself. And that's a strip sack. This one's over. This one's over now. Like, now it's basically impossible. Again, Jalen Harder being held on this play. Go watch the literally in a chokehold, egregiously.
He put his head on Mahomes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, of course.
They said during the broadcast because by the point when he hit his head, the Mahomes didn't have the ball anymore.
But dude, if you watch, he's literally in a chokehold, and by the time that Humphrey gets it off of him, he's literally like this, and then he pushes his hand.
Falling.
Yeah, he like pushes his hand in himself. Back him up 15 yards, whatever. Eagles run it 3 times. The Chiefs start burning timeouts. Jake Elliott from 50 yards out this time. Dude, we'll talk about Jake Elliott in a second, but he makes up for everything wrong. I mean, the dude was 1 for 7 from 50 yards heading into this game. Nails the 50-yarder right down the middle. What a game he had. He was locked in, dude. Completely locked in.
Yep.
So it's 40-6 Eagles. It's now a 5-possession game. At this point on the broadcast, you can hear the Eagles fans going with the tomahawk chop.
The tomahawk chop. Yeah.
Oh, bro. I was like, there's no way those are Chiefs fans. They showed it. Those are all Eagles fans doing that. Chiefs' next possession takes 5 minutes off the clock. They move it downfield little by little. It's capped off by a DeAndre Hopkins touchdown to make it 40-14 with the successful 2-point conversions. Eagles recover the ensuing onside kick, and Kenny Pickett, the GOAT himself, has entered the game as the Eagles quarterback. So the Eagles pulled their starters at this point because there's like 3 minutes left in the game. They go 4 and out. They go for it on 4th down. They don't convert. And the Chiefs' next drive, their first play, they score a 50-yard bomb to Xavier Worthy. Bro, hell of a throw, yeah. But dude,
shame that like it was in garbage time and like they were playing against the Eagles' backup defense at that point.
I know, it was still hell of a throw.
Incredible throw though, Jesus.
Yeah, it
sounds like vintage.
It was sick, dude. You want to know what double sucked this? I had freaking Devontae Smith as my king of the end zone. So and this one, this freaking one over it. Stupid.
You know, it was really funny. If you can like you know the NFL glazes Mahomes. You can like look at Mahomes like if you go to the NFL.
Oh, dude, it was so bad. I know.
Mahomes' highlights. It's the first play is Mahomes in the third quarter down 34-0.
Yeah. What was the title of the video though? It was like
Mahomes electrifying Super.
It was like no, it was like they strike back or something on the first play.
Yeah, they strike back on the first.
Yeah, it was like it was such dude. It was such like dude. AI made this title. It was so bad.
Dude, honestly, one thing I'll say about like Mahomes' end stat line because the end stat line, the points, it kind of bothers me because it doesn't really show
How
the
bad he
game
was.
was.
Oh, I have
Like
some
if you're
stats.
just looking at the box score,
I have some
you're like,
stats.
oh, he just threw 2 picks. But like honestly, I think the Super Bowl when they got blown out by the Bucks, which I mean, I have some stuff about that.
Okay.
But his stat line in that is terrible.
Yeah.
But like in that game, like it was just all the receivers were dropping passes.
They were just
like, he
off.
wasn't getting
They were just
protection.
off.
He was going. This was the worst game I've ever seen Mahomes play.
Dude, he was
And
genuinely.
he was only good in the garbage time.
He was
genuinely
bad.
terrible.
He was bad in this game.
He was in the bottom. I believe in the first half was in the bottom. Was like one of the bottom 3 performances the entire season.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Statistically by a quarterback, like worse than like Will Levis's performances, Giants quarterbacks performances.
Bro, you did not just
statistically.
you did not just put Mahomes in the company of Will Levis.
Yeah, he was in the company of Will Levis statistically in the first half of the Super Bowl.
Oh my
Incredible.
god, bro. Oh my god. Surprised we didn't see Carson Wentz at all.
I know.
Jesus.
Put him in, coach.
So yeah, 50-yard touchdown to Worthy. They go for 2 and get it. Makes the score 40-22. Chiefs go onside again. The Eagles recover.
Backups are super.
Yeah. The Eagles recover the onside kick, and the last player to touch the football in this game is Kenny Pickett, who knees 3 times. The clock hits 0, and the Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions again. They beat the Chiefs 40-22. Lopsided massacre. I got chills saying that. It's awesome.
What an incredible.
It's awesome that this is the first year that we did the podcast and literally our favorite team wins the Super Bowl. Like it's so cool.
Destiny. It's the vibes, Matt.
Dude.
The Eagles blew them out in the vibes.
We were a
Blew them out
vibe.
in the game because they blew them out in the vibes.
We were a vibe
We
all
said
year.
this last
is what
week.
we were.
The vibes were impeccable. The Chiefs had no vibes, and it showed in the scoreboard.
Bro, they had like an vibe, and they just
They
didn't.
just had the vibe of like, oh, it's 3 PPP, kind of cool.
3-3.
That was their only vibe point, which is like a garbage vibe point, which is why they got all their points in garbage.
It's an invalid vibe point.
It's an invalid vibe point. It's a garbage vibe point.
All right. We got a lot of stats to talk about because there's more to this game than meets the eye. We gotta talk about how good the Eagles were and how bad the Chiefs were. Because honestly, like I didn't want to sit here and like both of us are wearing Eagles gear and that's our favorite team and we're just talking about how good they were. But like that's literally what happened. Like we're bringing you the facts. Like we're
just to give
we're talking about the game.
The Philadelphia Eagles trailed only 5 minutes and 43 seconds of game time in the entire playoffs. 5 minutes versus the Rams when the score was 7-6.
That's 4 games.
And 43 seconds against the Commanders when the score was 3-0.
Dude.
That's insane.
Dude.
It was like Saquon had the most dominant running back season of all time, in my opinion.
It's insane.
Not that they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean we could start right there. So he surpassed despite being stymied for most of this game against the Chiefs, surpassed Terrell Davis to set the NFL record for most rushing yards in a single season, including playoffs with 2,504. What? It's crazy. Wow. He had a really good year. Kyle said that the Eagles only trailed for 5 minutes. So the Eagles scored 145 points in this year's postseason. That's the most points ever scored by a single team in any playoff run in 1 year.
Wow.
Nuts. So they were the most prolific offensive team in the history of the NFL playoffs. They averaged 36.2 points per game in this postseason while holding their opponents to 18.8. I don't know what the point differential is there, but it's probably one of the highest. It's like twice as many points as your opponent's scoring. They recorded 6 sacks against Patrick Mahomes, which is 1 short of the Super Bowl record. But they did this despite not running a design blitz once. Did you know that?
They did run 1 blitz.
No, they didn't.
But it was negated by penalty.
Yeah, so nothing official.
Nothing on the stat sheet. Zach Bond did blitz, but there was a penalty, so it got negated.
They rushed 4 the entire game and still sacked him 6 times, and I don't even know how many pressures there were. There were a lot.
I think with the obviously they rushed 4 and the I'm not discounting the guys up front.
Yeah.
Killed it, pass rushing.
How about them boys?
I think this is something that was kind of all season. Watching a lot of Eagles all 22, the secondary and the coverage from the linebackers, Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, Owen Burks even,
Yeah.
and then the secondary, that a lot of these sacks were just coverage sacks. There was nowhere to throw the ball. And eventually that
Well,
the
I think a lot of it.
rushers are going to get there.
I think a lot of it this year, especially in the regular season, I agree with you on that. This was different though. They were just, I don't know what it was.
They bullied them.
They bullied them. It's essentially our guys are better than your guys, even if you have an extra. And like, mind you, most of the time the Chiefs had 5 or 6 on the line. It was just the Eagles were better, like that much better. They were that much better. It's crazy.
Yeah, and as I said on the pod before, like the Chiefs, everyone, they have the mystique, the Mahomes, the Andy Reid. But like if you looked at them statistically, and with how many one-score games they were winning, they were playing with fire.
Yeah,
they were very similar to the 2022 Vikings statistically, and everyone called them frauds. They
I
had
mean,
the blowouts.
yeah, but they had the
But I'm
pedigree.
just saying
They had the
that
pedigree.
They had the pedigree. That's all they had over the 22.
Yeah, but that goes a little.
That
goes a little bit. That goes a lot more than.
Goes a little bit.
That goes a lot more than one good year.
They're true.
Yeah, but that's. I don't think that's a fair comparison because you can't say the Chiefs are literally the 2022 Vikings because the Vikings didn't do dick in the playoffs, and they barely all of their games they barely won and they got blown out.
Did the Chiefs do much in the playoffs? They beat the.
They won 2 games. Yeah.
They beat the Texans, which arguably the Texans kind of shot themselves in the foot with bad kicking, and then they also had the bad penalties. And then the Bills also basically played a horribly coached game as well. Not like they really beat anybody convincingly either.
No, I didn't say convincing. I didn't say convincingly, but you still got to give them. Dude, they went essentially 15-1 in the regular season. If you don't count the
no, I'm not saying that deserve. I'm just saying that
15-1 goes a long way.
Team like
but it is
a complete team like the Eagles.
You're right.
They got smacked.
It's worth talking about. Jalen Hurts was named Super Bowl 59 MVP. His stat line was 17 of 22, 221 passing yards, 1 interception. Again, the lone Eagles turnover this postseason. Rushing, 11 attempts, 72 yards on the ground, and an additional push touchdown. So 3 total touchdowns, just about 300 yards total. Dude, he was masterclass. He was damn near perfect. I think he missed on 2, maybe 3 throws, egregiously, and every other decision he made was perfect. Every other decision he made was the right call in this situation.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Incredible.
He's the only quarterback since John Elway to lose their first Super Bowl and return to win it. I wanted to talk about Jake Elliott for a little bit because, like I said, this guy had some problems this year. Missed a bunch of extra points. Missed a couple of extra points in the playoffs throughout the course of the regular season. He's terrible from distance, even though he's got a huge leg. He was 1 of 7 from 50 yards plus heading into Sunday. You want to know what Jake Elliott did in this game? He set the Super Bowl single game record with 16 kicking points. And he became only the 4th kicker in Super Bowl history with at least 4 field goals. In 3 appearances, because he was there in 2017 as a rookie, in 3 appearances, he has now moved himself into 3rd place for the most points scored in Super Bowl history with 36. He trails only Harrison Butker and Jerry Rice. Jalen Hurts, by the way, 9th on that list, 26 points in only 2 appearances. Maybe we'll see him move up in the future.
Maybe.
Devontae Smith became the 5th player all time to win a Heisman Trophy, a national championship, and a Super Bowl. He joins a legend. Dude, listen to this list. Marcus Allen, Tony Dorsett, Reggie Bush, Charles Woodson. That's an insane list to be a part of. I did want to talk about the Chiefs though a little bit, just to put it in perspective, how bad it was. Right. So I'll start with this. After the Eagles' first touchdown, here's what the Chiefs did: 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and pick 6, 3 and out, interception on the first play, 3 and out, halftime. Total net yards on those 6 drives, 1. Bruh.
Crazy.
1 yard in 6 drives. Their other drive in the first half was 4 plays, 12 yards. So they had 13 net yards in the first half. It's otherworldly stuff. It's otherworldly stuff. It's just insane to me. Mm-hmm. Excluding garbage time, Patrick Mahomes had an expected point average per dropback right? So every time he drops back to throw, excluding, after I'll say after the Devontae Smith catch, because that's what I'm assuming is garbage time. He had an expected points average per dropback of negative 1.248. So this means that every time Mahomes dropped back to throw when the game was still technically not like a blowout or technically over, he was costing the Chiefs more than 1.2 points per dropback. And that's over 4 times worse than the next worst performance by a quarterback in the Super Bowl, which was, if you had to take a guess, because you did watch this one.
What, Peyton Manning?
No, little more recent. Think of a boring Super Bowl.
Worst?
Well, it's over.
It wasn't Peyton Manning?
No, it's over 4 times worse. Mahomes is. This guy is second though.
I don't know. What wasn't Peyton Manning against the Seahawks?
It was Goff, the 13-3 game.
Oh, Goff.
Yeah.
Oh,
They only put up
yeah.
3 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time he dropped back to throw in essentially what was the first 3 quarters, he cost the Chiefs over a point. Crazy.
Wow.
Mahomes' 11.4 total QBR is the second lowest in the Super Bowl since ESPN introduced the metric back in 2006. The Chiefs trailed 34-0 at one point in the third quarter, which is their largest deficit in any game since Mahomes became the starting quarterback in 2018. So this is the worst loss the Chiefs have had in the history of Patrick Mahomes. Let that sink in. This is the absolute bottom, and it happened in the Super Bowl. It's crazy. My final stat that I'd like to share with you, and this is pretty funny, is that Kendrick Lamar was on the field longer than Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs were throughout the first 3 quarters of the game.
Oh.
That stinks. That one hurts. So yeah.
I will say one thing for the Mahomes Brady go talk. Brady shares my last name. Might always be my goat.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes Super Bowl losses differentials at minus 40 in his 2 losses. Brady's in his losses is only minus 15. Brady's overall is plus 36. Mahomes is still negative.
Wow. Well, it has to be negative now. Has to be.
Yeah. Well, it's minus 40 now. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying that. Say what you will about Brady, but I think Colin Cowherd might have said it when
Dude's
I
a
said
winner,
it best.
bro.
But like, dude, like even when he was losing or whatever, he was like,
It's always
You
close.
could tell there's like always there. You could always come back. And then Brady also said this on Colin Cowherd earlier in the week that like everybody remembers it's so big the Super Bowl because everybody remembers your losses in the Super Bowl. Nobody talks about Brady's losses in like the AFC Championship game or the divisional round.
You're right.
They only talk about the Philly special, the helmet catch, the Mario Manningham, Eli Manning, 2-0. They do not mention anything else. And now Mahomes has 2 stinkers on his resume. 1 to the GOAT.
Yeah. I mean, we'll speculate a little bit later after we go over our bets that we had because we did have some bets. But I don't think this is the end of the Chiefs dynasty. But we'll get into that in just a bit. I do want to go over. Did you have any more stats you wanted to point out to the audience?
No, that's all I had.
So I had a pretty good day. All right. I mean, obviously my favorite team won the Super Bowl. I had a very good day. Monetarily speaking, I gave you guys some plays, right? So let's review. I was very high on Kareem Hunt to score a touchdown. He finished with.
Yeah, and I said, Matt, why would you bet on Chiefs things? They're gonna do terrible.
It's fine. We'll get to that.
I warned you, podcast. Hopefully, you didn't take any of Matt's Chiefs lines.
I just went 5 for 5. Shut up. Yeah, he finished for 3 carries and 9 yards, so that didn't work out at all. Dude, all right, look, that was his six career games in the postseason and 6 touchdowns. All right, he scored on every game.
Now it's 6 for 7.
Now we can pump the brakes. Now we can pump the brakes on that a little bit. I did say though that my best bet was DeAndre Hopkins over 1.5 receptions, and that one hit plus 128. I made out like a bandit on that. So hopefully you guys bet that one. And that was one. That one was set. That one is something I said you could lay that or do it straight. So I hope you did both. If you had anything else that hit. I don't know if you heard the story about DeAndre Hopkins that they were talking about with the mink jacket. Did you hear about that?
No, I thought you were talking about how he said, man, the refs messed stuff up for us. And people were like, bruh, you can't be saying that.
He said that?
Yeah, he said that after the Super Bowl. He said the refs did a bad job and they missed calls.
Oh, they did?
Could have helped us.
Oh no, not that. I mean, it was bad both ways,
Yeah.
but it was
No,
bad.
he specifically for the Chiefs.
Oh yeah. No, the story with the jacket is so his dad passed away when he was like 4 months old or 5 months old, and
Oh, I did hear
yeah,
about
his
this,
dad
sorry.
left him a mink jacket to wear either when he got married or like when he made his first Super Bowl, and then he showed up wearing the jacket to the Superdome, which was really cool. I mean, it sucks that he lost, but still a cool story.
Insane.
What else did I say? I said Jalen Hurts over 211 passing yards. Bingo, got a hit. And that's about where my luck draws the line. So I said AJ Brown over 70.5 receiving yards, did not hit. Kelsey over 61.5 receiving yards, did not hit. Kelsey touchdown, which I said maybe it's a good value play, did not hit though. Saquon 100 plus in a touchdown, did not hit. So overall, most of the plays I gave were stinkers. I did get my best bet though correct, so I am glad I can at least show my face in public. I hope nobody bet too much on it. Kyle, we gotta talk about your bets though, because
Well, I say my two plays that I told you guys: Eagles money line,
which was
hit.
no, hold on. Eagles money line was what though specifically? What? How did we get
It was
to?
lock.
No. How did we get better odds on that?
Oh, how do we? Oh, we got better odds on that because of the yellow, green, lime Gatorade color. Bing
Dude,
bong.
oh my
Called
god.
that shit miles away.
I put so much money
Wow.
on that. I'm so glad I did. I've never been, let me tell you, I've never been more invested in the color of a sports drink in my entire life. I was like, show me the yellow. And I was like, yeah, like we saw it a little bit before they poured it, right? When they were like carrying it over. We were like, is it yellow? Yeah, it's yellow. Oh my god, yeah. Dude, I won like, oh my god. Well, I had $10 bonus bet, and then I bet 25, and then I bet another 25 with you. So I think I made like almost $250 on it.
Yeah. Well, I know I made about I made I took that money from the Gatorade because I was able to cash it out because so many people caught on.
Dude, it was crazy. Oh my god.
I moved so much.
No, on Thursday it moved. On Thursday it was plus 250 the
Yeah.
whole week, and then on Thursday it went. Dude, on Thursday it went from 250 to minus, what was it, like minus 120 or something like that, and then on Friday it was minus 295. Crazy movement for a novelty bet.
Insane.
But anyway,
But
yeah,
I
go
will
ahead.
say I had 12 bets, including futures, on this Super Bowl, and I went 12-0
That's
on
insane.
all of them.
That's just insane.
Assuming my normal units is $20, I went up 101 units total.
That's gross.
It was a 235% return on investment.
That's crazy.
My bets included Eagles future from April at plus 1400.
That was nasty.
Eagles super from the Eagles future from I believe November at plus 700. Actually, let me just double check when I place that.
That's insane, bro.
But oh no, that was at beginning of the playoffs. But plus 700.
There's plus 700 odds at the beginning of the playoffs.
At the beginning of the playoffs.
That's great odds. What the hell?
I know, it's because they look tough with their road. Anyway, but I picked them at plus 700 at the beginning of the playoffs. I had my Gatorade bet, which I cashed out.
Bet, dude.
And then I threw that on Eagles money line for an additional $20. But I mean, that ended up being really nice. I did bet Eagles alternate spread at minus 6.5. I threw a little bit on that at plus 220. Eagles defense anytime touchdown. I already said that at plus 600. Cooper DeJean anytime interception.
Bro, just imagine
plus
if
800.
Imagine if they just allowed you to lay it.
Eagles money line straight up 70. I threw $75 on it. Hit that at plus 100. I had the Saquon Barkley Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
That was another future at plus 2,500, which I think was my best odds bet I've ever hit in my career.
That's insane.
And then I had a little friendly bet. Oh, I had Jalen Hurts on a free bet for Super Bowl MVP at plus 375. And then I had a little friendly bet with my good old friend Connor of Eagles money line for an absurd amount of money. There may or may not have been too many drinks involved, but I'll take that bet as well.
We won't name a dollar amount.
We won't name a dollar amount on that one. It was a little too much.
Dude, that's an insane day. Like
insane day. ended up I'm not going to say the number because I don't want to brag, but it was. You could just do the math if you really want to, but it was
a 4-digit number.
insane day.
It was a 4-digit.
I might even just stop. I might just only do KB teases from now on in Eagles futures, just because like
you
won. I'll never be able to top.
You beat
that.
Vegas.
I won. I beat Vegas.
You beat Vegas.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, man.
An unbelievable day.
What a great day. I felt invincible yesterday. I took off of work. Like, I went to a doctor's appointment and like some MA messed up and like they didn't have my name in the system and I had to wait for like almost an hour and I still didn't care. I was just so happy. It's like, don't worry, take your time. It's fine. Oh man. So great day. We gotta talk about what's next for these two teams though, because there is an off season. Like we mentioned at the beginning of the show, the Eagles now need a new offensive coordinator. So next year, Kyle, will be Jalen Hurts' 5th year as the starting quarterback. This will be his 4th different offensive coordinator. It's crazy. It's crazy the inconsistency and the success that they've still had, regardless. It's quite impressive.
It's like Kevin Patullo's the leading candidate.
I haven't even really looked at because they made it official today, so I don't even know.
What I've heard from reports is that Kevin Patullo's currently the favorite.
Who's that guy?
And the Eagles were kind of aware that Kellen Moore was going to probably leave after this season.
Yeah, they were.
So they unlike with Jonathan the Snake Gannon, they seemed like they were prepared for this.
Yes, no, they were definitely.
They have a couple candidates lined up internally and externally.
Yeah,
we'll see what
they were.
Also, it's a very, very appealing job.
They were prepared for it. I know Sirianni was trying to do his best. He was like, "Let's run it back, Kellen. Let's go back. Let's do it again." Oh man, imagine if that worked. He would be beloved. He would have been beloved. Yeah. But like, no one's gonna blame him for taking a head coaching job.
There's only 32 of those jobs.
Yeah.
And if you have an opportunity,
oh my god. Take it. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, who's this Kevin Patullo guy?
Kevin Patullo is, I believe, was our passing game coordinator.
Okay.
/ associate head coach.
Ah, okay.
But there's a chance he's either going to stay as offensive coordinator or he might go to with Kellen Moore to New Orleans.
Dude, stop, Kellen. It's enough. It's fine. Why? I hate that. I hate after you win the Super Bowl.
Patullo has been viewed as Nick Sirianni's right-hand man since arriving. He's been
pay him.
Since
pay him.
Joined.
Pay him.
Kevin Patullo.
Pay him.
We will see. We will see.
So the Eagles, they're gonna have some questions in the coaching position to take care of. They got a lot of free agents though, Kyle. They got a lot. Well, let me.
They do, but
let me read you the list.
Not really on offense. All you're really losing is
it's not so much. It's not so much on offense.
It's mainly the defense. But
let me give you the list. Let me give you the list. Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, presumably retiring. He said it's not out of the picture he comes back, but presumably retiring. Zach Bond, Mekhi Becton, Avonte Maddox, Milton Williams, Oren Burks, Jack Driscoll, Kenny Gainwell, Britton Covey. Those are the major names. So Josh Sweat, obviously, Zach Bond, Milton Williams. Those are like the 3 core guys on defense because you're going to assume
correct.
Graham.
Everybody else,
you'll assume Graham retires.
I don't think you need them.
You assume Graham retires. I did like what I saw from Oren Burks though. If we can get him back on a good deal.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't mind.
Especially because N'Kobe, he might miss all next season with his injury.
Yeah, I know. So it's gonna be tough. I don't know how much off the top of my head the Eagles have to work with, like cap wise. I know Howie Roseman is a god, and by the way, I just have to say, Howie Roseman, I think he's the best general manager in the 4 major sports right now. And I don't even think it's particularly close. I think the only other guy you could maybe argue is the Dodgers guy, but dude has it easy.
Yeah, but he has unlimited money.
He has unlimited money. Yeah, he has unlimited money.
That doesn't count. If you have unlimited money,
it's literally like
the best GM of all time. If I had unlimited,
it's like
money.
Creative mode over there. It's crazy. So who are you prioritizing if you're the Eagles right now? Between Josh Sweat, Zach Bond, and Milton Williams.
I'm saying it now. I think if the Eagles are able to re-sign Zach Bond and get a contributor in the front 4 with their first-round pick, they're going to win the Super Bowl game.
See, I think you almost need one of Sweat and Williams. I think Sweat's gone, personally.
I don't think I think Sweat's gone.
Sweat's gone.
He's kind of a roller coaster up and down player. I think he's going to
not
get
even
a lot
that.
Of
it's just
that the Eagles aren't going to pay him.
It's not even that. It's just the amount of money because they almost traded him in the offseason last year or this year.
Yeah, I think Josh Sweat's gone. I think Zach Bond is the must sign. I think you have to sign him. And I think Milton Williams, I think
I agree
this
with
Super
Bond,
Bowl
dude. I really
performance
do.
kind of got him out of the price range of where we can keep him. But I think you
Yeah.
have to sign Bond.
I
Of those three, I think you have to sign Bond because
I would say
you
Bond.
already have Jalen Carter. You have Marlon Tuipulotu.
Tui Pelotu.
What am I? Yeah, he low key was decent. He had like a bunch of pressures in the Super Bowl, and I think that if they
No, it's
just
not
nail
Marlon,
the
but
draft, which is a big if, but I think if they get Bond, I think if I'm Howie Roseman, I'm only re-signing Bond and probably Owen Burks if I can get him for cheap.
yeah,
And then I will try to sign Milton Williams, but I think he's out of their price range
tough.
now.
It's tough. It's really tough. Yeah, I don't know. What about Mekhi Becton? That's another one. I mean,
I don't think you need to sign Mekhi.
I think you can get a replacement for Mekhi Becton only because
I think Steen. You got Tyler Steen.
Yeah, well, no, I was gonna say
Tyler Steen's played very admirably.
Steam was pretty
he
good.
He was projected to be the starter.
But the thing is, you can't give Becton a big contract because he's just not on the field that often. He misses games.
No, I think Becton is a guy. I think you if anybody can coach a new right guard, it's Stoutland.
Yeah,
Becton,
I agree.
You let walk.
I agree with that. So I think you let Becton walk.
I think Bond is the only
guy that you want to see.
Number one priority.
Yeah.
If they do not sign anybody else and they only re-sign Bond, I'm happy.
I think unfortunately Kenny Gainwell is probably gone too because I mean
I agree, and I think Will Shipley, as you saw in the game against the Commanders, I think he's gonna be solid.
He was fine
as
dude.
RB2.
Yeah, and it's like who resigns a backup running back? Like it doesn't really happen very often. Brayton Covey, he's
Gainwell actually has the most yards per carry and like yards for like an RB2 like ever, I believe. It's like up there.
Dude, he's been so good.
I don't know the exact numbers. I just
he's
remember
been so
good,
honestly.
I'm
gonna miss him
but
if he's gone.
Been like a top tier handcuff.
If he's gone, dude,
I'll miss him. One thing we didn't bring up, that tackle he made on special teams.
Oh, dude.
Kickoff?
Yeah, you're right.
Holy crap!
That was a great tackle.
I don't remember the name. What's the name of the
Chiefs Nico Remigio.
He's been really good.
Yeah. If you remember from our last podcast, I was like, dude, Remigio is the guy they have to key in on. He can make a big play in this game. Didn't matter at all. We were so locked in. But yeah, I think I agree with you on Bond. I think he should be the Eagles' #1 priority for sure. Josh Sweat, I think he's going to be gone. The price is too much, like you said. It's been kind of a roller coaster with him. They're not really sure where.
I could see him getting a big deal from like the Pats or
the somewhere.
The guys that really need to ask.
Milton Williams. I mean, if you can make it work, go ahead. I mean, I'd like to see at least one of those guys come back, but it's going to be tough. I mean, you look at the Eagles draft capital.
Hearing all the people talk about Milton Williams, I was like the key. Like a lot of people on podcasts, like in the Super Bowl. They always say like who's an underrated player or like not really a big name that's going to go off in the Super Bowl. Almost every single Eagles media that I listen to all said Milton Williams. Which means that the league knows Milton Williams is really good. No, not that they want him back. That Milton Williams is going to be a key contributor that not a lot of people know his name.
Yeah.
Which means the league knows his name.
That means the league
which
knows.
Means he's going to get a shit ton of money.
Yeah, from somewhere.
Free agency.
Yeah, you're probably right. Especially with this performance.
I think Zach Bond is the #1 because he thrived in this Fangio system.
Yeah.
He was amazing. He's my bald bro. I just got his jersey. He needs to stay.
You look at the Eagles draft capital. They don't have too much in draft capital. They have their 1 through 4 picks, 1 apiece, and then they got 3 5s, and that's it. As of now, that is. There might be some trades later.
We'll see what happens.
Now the Chiefs. I'm not talking about the Chiefs. What's next? I did say I want to mention this, right? I said earlier I don't think this is the end of the Chiefs dynasty. I'm gonna ask you.
Chiefs honestly would not surprise me if they go back and win next year.
They're still so good. They're so if they get another guy and I think Worthy is gonna be insane. I think Worthy's gonna be the guy next year. I think what they need is honestly another explosive running back. Like as good as Kareem Hunt was towards the end of the year, and you really saw it, right? Like weeks 13 through 17, they were really running the ball well. They actually started to put up some points, like we were talking about. They started blowing out some teams, which is something they really didn't do earlier in the year, right? Until they re-signed Hunt.
I think what they need is O-line, not really a running back.
I
Andy Reid doesn't really run the ball anyway. He kind of abandons it. I think they need O-line help. If the Super Bowl said
pass
anything,
protection.
both Super Bowls
Pass
they
protection.
lost were because of their O-line.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you some of the free agents for the Chiefs coming up.
They moved their guard to right tackle during the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because they were getting destroyed.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's nuts.
By the Houston Texans. Like, they need, like, obviously all the AFC now. I'm sure some AFC team's going to overplay for Josh Sweat. They're going to, like, and Myles Garrett's going to go for a king's ransom if he actually does get traded. Like, they're, like, the way to beat the Chiefs is the way to win any game. Like, this is the way the Giants
wins
beat
championships.
The Patriots when they were, when they were 16-0.
Yeah, man.
It's just, like, win in the trenches.
Yeah.
That's, like, a formula that's, like, worked
it goes back.
And it's working now.
Every era of the NFL, you can say that. You're 100% right.
Like, arguably, outside the quarterback, the offense and defensive lines are the two most important areas.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of icing on the cake.
I'll read you some of the Chiefs free agents coming up here. So we've got DeAndre Hopkins, who apparently people were speculating that he was going to retire, but he said he's not done.
He's saying he's still going to play.
He said he's not done. So you got DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Reed, Charles Omenihu, Hollywood Brown, Joshua Uche, Derek Nandi, Justin Watson, Nick Bolton. It's another big name.
Ooh, that's a big name.
Juju Smith-Schuster, Kareem Hunt, Mecole Hardman, Marlon Tuipulotu, Matt Araiza, and Carson Wentz. Is this the beginning of the end for Carson Wentz in the NFL? Someone please sign Carson Wentz. Keep him around. I need him there.
I'm sure he'll stay.
I need him there.
Sure.
I need him in the NFL. So yeah,
dude, imagine if you were in a coma, like the game before the Rams game where Carson Wentz tore his ACL, and you wake up now from the coma, and you hear like, how are the Eagles doing? And it's like the Eagles have been to 3 Super Bowls and won 2, and it'd be like, whoa, Carson Wentz
is so sick, dude.
He must be so good.
Oh my god, that's nuts.
I said earlier, Carson Wentz sat on the bench and watched both of his backups.
Dude, it's crazy. So yeah, it looks like a lot. I mean, you got 3 receivers. You got 4 receivers actually. Hardman, Hopkins, Smith-Schuster, and Hollywood Brown. All free agents.
Those are all kind of meh.
Well, they've been. I mean, Hopkins is a future Hall of Famer. Brown had a really good year with the Ravens, but it just didn't work out.
He was injured for most of the
year. Yeah. And then he went to the Cardinals, and then Juju Smith-Schuster, he's seen better days, and then Mecole Hardman, I mean, staple chief. He's been around for the whole dynasty.
Mecole Hardman, my boy.
So,
no, he wasn't. He was with the Jets for a little.
They're
bit,
gonna need, and then he went back to the Chiefs because he was giving the the Chiefs the Jets playbook, dude. Crazy. So they're gonna need some receivers. Chiefs do have an extra 3rd-round pick from the Titans from the L'Jarius Sneed trade, and they have all their other picks, so they have a decent amount of draft capital. Obviously, they're picking, further back in the draft. I would not be surprised, Kyle, if the Chiefs trade up in the draft. I would not be surprised if this was the year they chose.
Well, yeah, they did last year. I wouldn't be surprised.
If they got
some trade up with the Bills.
They got a receiver or something like that, I wouldn't be surprised. I agree with you though. I think they should definitely focus on the pass protection on the O-line for sure.
I think pass protection, and then if they can try to get like an alpha receiver.
Yeah, again, I don't have the cap numbers. It would be helpful to see what the cap numbers look like and how much money they actually have to spend. But I read some pretty big names there. Justin Reed, Nick Bolton, Tuipulotu was a pretty good contributor. Derek Nandi. So like they have some, and I think Nick Bolton has really been the anchor of that defense. I mean, I know Justin Reed's been really good. He's had a lot of good years, but I think Nick Bolton.
Just so we know, Eagles' effective cap space going into the offseason is $13,865,825 according to Over the Cap.
Ooh.
Chiefs are minus $2,123,491 over the cap. But I mean, they have the 10-year Mahomes contract. They could easily manipulate it. Honestly, I'm never too worried about the cap.
No, that's
just because
our GM's Howie Roseman.
Like, if you have a solid GM like Howie Roseman, I low-key like
he'll
Howie
make it work,
dude.
Anything done. He'll make it work
if he really wants to.
Chiefs negative cap. Yeah, they'll probably just defer a bunch of that money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Saints minus almost $60 million.
Why is Kellen Moore taking that job? They don't have a freaking.
He has to, bro.
They don't have a quarterback. How are they gonna pay him? What are they gonna pay him in rubles?
Top 3 in cap space
Pay him in Hurricanes.
are the Patriots with 111
Bro,
million.
watch out.
Almost 100.
Watch out for the Pats. I'm
million
telling you.
cap space.
I'm telling you right now.
Raiders at 85. Commanders at almost 69 million. Cardinals at 67.
Dude,
Chargers,
how did the Commanders
55.
have? Oh my God, dude, the Commanders.
Bears 53. Niners have 43 million. Wow. Bengals 43 million. Lions 43 million.
Dude,
Wow.
the Commanders are going to be good next year if they make the right plays in the offseason.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that. Not that they weren't good this year.
Eagles have the second lowest of that's not negative. For going into next season. Right now, the Chiefs are negative, Bucks are negative, Texans are negative, Cowboys are negative.
Yay! I was gonna say, tell me the Cowboys are negative.
Seahawks, Bills, Browns, and Saints are in the worst shape.
Dude, the Cowboys are gonna have to trade Micah. They can't afford it.
Yeah, they're negative.
Bring to Philly. Bro, if the Eagles trade for Micah Parsons, then everything I said before about signing Milton Williams and Josh Sweat goes out the fucking window because then we have Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
He wants to be here, dude. All the
there's no
Miles
way the
Garrett
Cowboys are gonna trade.
No, they won't. They won't. But Miles Garrett wants to be here. Micah Parsons wants to be in Philly. Abdul Carter, even though he'll probably be a Brown, wants to be in Philly.
Dude, Abdul Carter would be awesome if he
Oh
was
my
Philly.
God, could you imagine Jalen Carter and Abdul Carter? The Carter brothers, the Carter,
Carter
Lil
brothers.
Wayne. We could make a commercial out of that. It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, we can speculate a little bit on next year if you want, or well too early predictions for next year.
I already said it. Eagles resign Zach Bond, and they nailed the first round pick. They're going back to
And they win the Super Bowl again.
Yep. Also, 2 teams that I think are going to do phenomenal next year. Surprise some people.
I got one.
I think there's playoff teams. The Chicago Bears.
Okay. Oh, so you're back on the Bears. You're back on the Bears. Okay.
They're the only team.
Go ahead.
They are tied with the Lions as being the only team that has won a game in year of 2025 in the NFC North.
That means absolutely nothing.
And Carolina Panthers.
The
boy,
Panthers.
Brycey Young.
The Panthers.
The Carolina Panthers, I legitimately believe, are going to win the NFC South.
I'll tell you what.
They kill in the offseason, they are going to win the NFC South.
I think
you heard it here, folks.
I think if they make the right moves, they actually get some weapons on offense, because they do have a pretty good defense. It's okay. They need some guys in the middle, and they need some pass rush.
You're going to get Cooper Kupp.
Listen to me. They get some playmakers, they get some O-linemen, and they get some D-linemen. And I think the New England Patriots could be a playoff team. And
that's a solid pick as well.
Dude, Mike Vrabel, do not tell me Drake May is not good. I saw it this year.
May is good. He's a Pro Bowler.
I saw things from him this year. He sold me. He sold me a little bit. I believe the Patriots could be a playoff team next year.
Honestly, I think they're the best. They're the second best team in the AFC.
Yeah, I would say
how damning is it for the Dolphins with the fact that they with the reports of them being like the players didn't want to play,
dude,
Banji or whatever.
Bad.
Soft team, bro.
Bad.
Mike McDaniel, say what he was, but like they haven't been good since they dropped that like 70 burger on the Dolphins.
Yeah, dude, they peaked in week 4, week 2, something like that.
That was week 3, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, dude, great.
Yeah, it was
Tyreek
I was gonna come back from Ireland.
Tyreek wants out. And then you got Tua, who's like a hit away from literally dying on the field.
Yeah.
And they're not in a good position.
I like that. I like that, Pats. I think that's a surprising team.
I'm
What about teams? What about teams you think are gonna not be as good?
I could see the Chiefs regressing a little bit, especially if they're under the cap, if they can't make the room or the moves that they need to make.
I think they'll be as well.
I think they'll be a playoff team, but I think the NFC or the AFC West is going to be more open than it ever has been since Mahomes took over. I could
see the Chiefs being a wild card team, but still getting.
I could see, I could see the Dolphins making a run or the Dolphins, the Broncos making a run at the division title. I think if the Chargers need. They need something.
You want to know a fun fact?
They need something.
The Bengals lost to the Eagles by 20.
I know what you're gonna say.
Their point differential for like every other game was like I think
29,
less than 30.
It was 29. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's insane,
All other
bro.
seven
the
other
Bengals, I think, are
losses.
going to be back. I think I'm always a year off.
Dude,
I'm always a year off. I
Hey,
said it was going to be Eagles Chiefs
I
2
said
years ago.
what did I
Or a
say?
year ago.
I said Bengals and Bengals Packers, right? Or something.
I think it's Bengals Eagles is the Super Bowl.
I said Bengals Packers to start this year. The
Well, I'm saying
Packers.
starting. I'm
I'll
saying
still
now,
behind the
Bengals
Packers.
Eagles.
I'll still behind the Packers. I don't. All right, I think that the Lions will be worse because they have a way tougher schedule.
Yeah, but I think they're still going to be solid. They're still going to be playoff.
Teams figured them out. They'll probably be like an 11 or 12 win team or something like that. And then, yeah, I think the Bengals are honestly back. I could see the 49ers being back because it's an odd year.
Yeah.
It's an odd year, so.
I think the Vikings regress.
Yeah, I mean, we still don't know what's going on with Darnold yet.
I think
but
the Bucks are going to
safely
regress.
assume he's gone. So the Bucks is a weird situation, right? Because you don't have Liam Cohen anymore. So it's like, all right, was the offense still the same? They got. I mean, I don't know. I was really high.
They're going to lose Chris Godwin probably.
Or
maybe not, because
dude, they have
take a discount.
Dude, that kid McMillan. I don't know.
Yeah, he's pretty solid.
He's pretty good, man. He's pretty good. I think they'll be just fine.
I mean, we'll see.
Well,
we'll
you got to see what's up with Mike Evans too. I assume he'd be back.
Steelers could regress. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I would.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. Everybody's so optimistic at this point. We don't know draft, free agency.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on. I do think, and I did say this last podcast, I think the Titans are going to trade the #1 overall pick. I don't know who's gonna take it, but I think they trade it because they know.
I think they take Cam Ward.
Well, I think that'd be stupid, but Titans gonna
see what
Titan.
happens.
I think the Titans will be terrible next year. Then the Titans will win like 2 or 3 games, and they'll have the #1 pick again. So there you go. Yeah, if you want if the Titans don't trade the #1 overall pick, I will say that they will be the worst team in the league next year. I'll say it. It's either.
I think the Saints are.
It's either. Yeah, I was gonna say it's either them or the Saints because the Saints are gonna be fucking terrible next year. Like I feel bad for Kellen Moore. -6.
Or the Browns.
Yeah, could be the Browns. I mean, the Browns are just in such a bad situation. They still have the Watson contract. They don't have a quarterback.
I think the Jags are going to be a sneaky team.
Jaguars will be better. They'll be better next year.
I like this right now. I like throwing out my hot takes.
Yeah.
Freaking February, 2 days after the Super Bowl.
We'll come back to this.
And I hope some of these stick. That'd be pretty funny.
We'll come back to
so
this.
So here, wait. Just before we close out, 3 predictions for next season. Boldest predictions. Say them now, so we have them recorded.
You want boldest, or do you want
3
that I'm most confident in?
3 that you're most confident that that have a little spice.
Okay.
Don't do
Patriots. Patriots make the playoffs.
Patriots make the playoffs.
Can I say Titans trade the #1 pick?
Yeah, I think you could say that.
Okay, Titans.
That's technically next season.
Titans will trade the #1 overall pick.
#1 pick.
And what's the next spiciest one? I don't know, man. I gotta figure out some spice. All right, give your 3 if you have. Give your 3. I'll
my 3 are: I believe that the Panthers win the NFC South.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty spicy.
The Jaguars are a playoff team with Liam Cohen, with Duval. And if the Eagles re-sign Zach Bond, they will return to the Super Bowl.
Damn, bro. All right, I gotta
my
follow
spicy
that up.
predictions.
Gotta follow that up.
See what happens, but a year from now. But those are my predictions.
I'll say, I don't know, man.
Yeah, get one more, man. Then we could thank our audience and move on with our lives.
I'll say the Bengals go back to the Super Bowl. Joe B.
Bengals back in the Super Bowl.
Give me Joey B. I'll double down on it 2 years in a row.
I like that one.
Hella early. We'll double down on it.
Wow.
Guys, first of all, thank you if you've ever watched a single second of this show.
Yes, thank you so much.
I went into it a little bit on the last show.
This was an amazing season.
I almost stopped picks because it was beginning to be so much for me to just be doing work and life and like doing it all together. And then Kyle approached me and like, I forget, it was like June or July or something like that. And you're like, let's do a podcast. And like, I like festered on it a bit. I think if I scroll back in our messages, I could probably find the text and be like, all right, let's do the podcast. Or I might have called you.
Yeah.
So this was the best decision of my life, or one of the best decisions of my life. Definitely doing this show because it's just been so much fun. I'm a big talker, so I love to talk. And this is like the best way to just get my thoughts out and talk about football, which is something I really like. So thank you to all of you guys who've supported, who if you bought merch. We'll be back with some merch next year. Don't you worry.
Hell yeah.
But
Maybe we'll do a draft or free agency
oh my
episode.
God,
Probably
yeah.
our next one, maybe.
That'd be fun. I would like live
That'd be pretty fun.
the draft maybe.
That'd be pretty fun.
That'd be pretty fun. Huge thanks to Kyle for coming up with the idea, and I brought him onto the picks team, and we're gonna be doing this together next year for sure. So thank you, Kyle. And yeah, that'll do it for me, Kyle. You have anything else?
I'll do it for the picks for the
last episode of the year.
Thanks for letting me be a part of this, man.
Of course.
I know I kind of pushed you for the podcast.
I'm glad you did.
Just because I remember you telling me that you didn't want to do it anymore, and I was like, nah, you got to keep doing it. Appreciate the audience, anybody who stuck around and watched. Shout out to Aaron for his Commanders facts, even though I know he's not watching this episode out of protest. But yeah, shout out to everybody who supported us through this with the merch, and I'm excited to see what 2025 brings.
We'll be back.
This is our first podcast, and Eagles win. Maybe
yeah, man.
We're the podcast has to keep going. Eagles will win
forever. They'll just keep winning the Super Bowl.
The indefinitely repeat. I would love it.
I'm Matt and Kyle. This is we're 44 and 42 years old. Eagles have won their 20th Super Bowl in a row.
Eagles have won their 20th Super Bowl in a row.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, be on the look. I mean, I'll be posting throughout the off season. I'll definitely be doing the free agency recaps and the draft night recaps as the summer progresses. So
yeah, we'll
follow us on
if we do a
Instagram
draft
for
live
sure.
Stream or free agency recap podcast.
Absolutely. So yeah, that'll do it for us for the 2024 NFL season. Thanks you again for watching and listening, and we'll see y'all next year in 2025. Thanks again.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe it's already 2025.
You know what I mean. The 2025 season.
Wow.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next year.